Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this is a reading today for anybody that resonates with the twin flame label and journey. And we're going to take a look at just how the collective is doing, what the masculine and feminine are up to, and then how best we can bring about union with the information that we have. Now a lot of this, has to deal with one's soul path. So if you're not sure about what your divine mission is, I suggest booking my soul path reading in the description box below. Then these readings will make a lot more sense. But for now, I'm going to start with our mythological lover's path tarot. And we have wisdom in reverse, the 9 of cups, and power. So we're going to start with the wisdom card in reverse, which is the high priestess card of the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. But in this deck, characterizes the myth of Scheherazade. Now, if you don't know about this, first of all, we have the number 2 at the bottom, but it looks like an 11 in Roman numerals. So is anybody seeing 1111 a lot? So we're talking about partnerships here. And in this myth of Scheherazade, this king kept killing his wives so that he could continue to get more, and they would never live to see the dawn. And Scheherazade was very clever and told him a story that took all night, and eventually he fell asleep. And she won his heart in the process of also not losing her life, interestingly enough. But since it's in the reverse here, I feel like the masculine at this time feels like the feminine has tricked him in a way, whether that be like because of an outright lie or because he just had his heart stolen suddenly from him. And I feel like he's having a lot of sleepless nights actually thinking about you and just giving this overall frustration of like, why can't I shake this woman from my mind? And for the feminine, you could be going through a bit of a stubborn streak, not wanting to learn something, more interested in superficial things at the moment, almost like this energy that the world is so dark and deep already. I just want to watch my funny movies and block everything else out, which is needed sometimes. So the twins are really at odds with each other in this card, with the stories that they're telling themselves about their connection. And I also kind of get the sense too that the feminine feels a little bit in the dark in regards to what the masculine is feeling. So you might be receiving outward signs that they're still around or in your life, but feeling like the connection, the bond, isn't as strong in the 5D or in dreams or things like that. Now next we have the 9 of Cups here. So the 9 of Cups is our wish fulfillment card. So Spirit is basically saying like, don't worry, your wish fulfillment is around the corner. And there's almost this sense of, as long as you keep your eye on the relationship prize, you really can't go wrong. This is a promise of reunion, so long as we keep the mentality of joyousness in everything that we do. And there's this indication here that for some of you, your person is going to meet up with you in 9 days, 9 weeks, maybe for some of you 9 hours, as we have the number 9 here. But if you'd like to know specifically in your connection, if there's any time indication where you guys will meet reunion, book my 1 question special. It's $20 in the description box below. Now with power, which is the Emperor card in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, we see that eventually the twins get it right. As opposed to this first card where like one person is dominating the other one and the other one feels like she has to fight for her life, Arthur and Guinevere act as a team. It may be a little bit of an unwilling team, but a team nonetheless. So there's a large part of your mission that Spirit wants to remind you of, no matter what you're called to do, that it requires the spirit of cooperation. And power in this deck is suggesting that we are going from the partnership intimacy of the number 2 to a more stable relationship of the number 4. So that could resonate as well. Now, we also do have the idea of karmic partnerships, because anybody that knows this myth will know that Guinevere was actually more in love with Lancelot than Arthur. But Arthur used his power to marry her, and then subsequently they did good things throughout the land. So choosing stability over your twin is not necessarily a good thing. And if you're involved in a situation where that is prevalent, you're going to want to figure out which relationship makes you feel like you could stand more in your power, lead effectively, and inspire others. So this is very much a card of deciding what you want. And then, of course, we have the Queen of Arrows here on the reverse, in the reverse on the bottom of the deck. So there's extra work this week on the feminine's behalf, not to be paranoid or wound others with our words, feel like a woman scorned, or fear being manipulated by other people. You know, the masculine wants somebody who's strong enough to push against him without hurting him too. So that is just an extra piece of advice from Spirit in regards to the feminine. Now, from the Tao Oracle deck, we have completion, excess, and the clinging. So when you think about these cards in relation to one another, we have a man here who has completed the race. Perhaps he's come in first place, but he's definitely elated. He feels a victory, that your relationship is building to this great crescendo. So if you can get past feeling at odds with each other and working against each other, again, another sign of reunion here. And Spirit is saying basically the way through it, if your person is coming back into your life, or if you're alone at this moment, is to live passionately, live from the heart. There's an indication to sing here, maybe watch romantic movies. Get in this vibration where you feel this allowing, receptive energy, and Spirit will answer you. Now, with excess and the 9 of Cups, we have this indication about stress. So we're going to take care not to overload ourselves here. We're not going to be obsessive. We're not going to pile on so much stuff that we lose time for self-care, or we'll reach a breaking point. So in conjunction with Love Yourself First from the Romance Angels Oracle deck, having self-care means having self-respect. And it's also about standing more in that power. We have this beautiful heart chakra and blue throat chakra color. So we're going to exercise our right to express ourselves, put up healthy boundaries if people are forcing us to do things that we don't necessarily feel is the right thing for us to do at this time. And then maybe heart-centered practices like yoga, meditation, having a heart-to-heart with somebody, eating healthy foods, etc., etc. More advice from Spirit here. We have number 30, the clinging, fire, illumination, inspiration, devotion, and all-consuming passion, regeneration, spirituality, virtue, and enlightenment. So again, what do you want here? If you want this stable family situation that doesn't veer too much from the norm, that doesn't push you too much, to grow outside of your comfort zone and embrace, if this is you, if this resonates. Obviously, I'm not trying to put down one way of life over another. It's all about what you want. But Spirit is really calling to those of us who are in a karmic marriage that maybe that marriage has served its purpose and we're being called to transform more. We have this beautiful yellow color of the solar plexus chakra, asking us basically, like, it's burning us up from the inside. Like, don't you want more in your life? So for some of us, this road to reunion involves a separation and time apart from your partner. Even if you go back to the same person, deciding that that person probably was who you wanted to be with all along. Or if you're with your twin and you're wondering, like, do I really want to keep going through this, complicated relationship where we have constant unions and separations? Having some time alone, being able to think for yourself out in nature and ask these questions and be in a peaceful environment where you can get those answers is so important, again, for self-worth, so important to have good dynamics in a relationship so we don't have power struggles, and then more solidified in the choices that we make in our everyday life. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this resonated with you. Please let me know if it does down in the comments below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more. On Monday, we're going to specifically dive into the messages the Divine Masculine wants you to know. And then, of course, I've got an array of readings for you down in the description box where you can book on my website. So until Monday, have a good weekend.